So here's the problem. Most authors put their book on Amazon and they're like, woohoo, I'm done. Now let's get the money rolling in, right? Wrong, wrong. Here's the deal, getting your book seen. You gotta figure out what identifies you from everybody else. You gotta stand out. So let's look at how big this fish tank is. This is just Amazon, mind you. In paperback, they have 30,661,319 books. Hardcover, over 13 million books. Kindle edition, about 6 million books. New releases in the last 30 days. 371,000, 90 days, over 1 million, and then the coming soon. It doesn't matter for that one. So that means, what does that calculate to? 12,394 books per day. 8.5 books per minute. 560 new books by the time I finish this lecture. That's a big fish tank, isn't it? And last year I did this presentation. I've done it several times since, but last year I did this presentation, and that's the last time I had the numbers for this. And it grew, it doubled. When I did the presentation before, it was like 250 new books by the time I finished the lecture, and now it's 516, and it's only going to grow. In fact, I had a friend of mine, he uses CreateSpace, and he just changed his book out on CreateSpace. He just wanted to change the cover, but they take it down during the time that you change out your cover. And they said it's going to take up to 2 weeks because they have, every single day they have over 800 new titles they need to review. So that's your competition. So let's find out who's your market. I know, everyone wants to read my book, right? I don't want to limit myself, so I should just reach out to everyone. Wrong. All right, so you want to research your genre and look at what similar authors are doing. This goes for fiction or nonfiction. Do you see any trend? What kinds of things are they posting on social media? What social media posts get the most likes? And then you really got to look into what the age and gender is of your typical following. So this is going to take a little research. You're going to find this on social media where you go on and you just kind of stalk people to find out their ages and stuff. And take notes on what you see working and what you don't. So let's talk about the marketable product of your book, which for the purpose of this lecture, because it's so short, we're going to talk about the cover, description, logline, tagline, and reviews. That is your marketable product. And you got to get that just right, or you're going to fail in all your marketing efforts going forward. So what's the most important marketing tool? Your cover. The cover is the first thing people see when they look at your book. And your cover has to fit your genre. And I'm going to give you a little sample of what happened to my book personally in a little bit. But let's look at some good covers here. These are all very intriguing covers. They all fit the kind of genre. So, they say don't judge your book by your cover, but it's everything. It's your calling card. All your marketing platforms, social media, website, should kind of match the look and feel of your book. And it must convey the tone, the quality of your book, and all with just the title, subtitle, and tagline on that cover. Because if you see, this is Amazon. See how small your book is? You really got to be careful of that when you create your cover, because that's what people are seeing, So you can't have, I had one person that had it was even darker than this, a really dark cover. It was a great cover, but when you shrunk it down the side, it just looked like a black square because the lettering was so small. So you got to be careful of that. Here's what it looks like on Barnes & Noble, little tiny little squares. This is an example of an Audible daily deal. So let's look at some great covers. This is a great one. This is a 1920s sci-fi. So you can really kind of get that feel of the Art Deco type thing. It's not a good book, but it's a great cover. That part doesn't matter as long as you get them to buy it, right? Here's another one, How to Smoke Pot. A highbrow guide to getting high. It's just, it fits the perfect, just my type, a book about fonts, go figure that one, right? But it tells you exactly what the book is about. Privacy, you got this guy leading in, looking through. It's a nonfiction about privacy. And this is How to Behave in a Crowd. This is about an 11-year-old kid who's trying to find his way. So they see how they all fit. So let's look at what not to do. This is the fun part. Oh, we got My Week in Soul here. I hope this is nobody's books here. Let me know. No. And it's like this hand drawing, and there's like a knife going through her little arm, or no, a needle, like a hypodermic needle going in her arm. Although that kind of intrigues me, I want to read it now. God Will Fix It. We've got this beautiful title about Paul Walker, and this one cracks me up because what they did is they went on Google search and they found, where the stock images, you can't see it here, but they have like the watermarks from the stock image on it, and then things you could things you could have said but you didn't. All right, so here's my personal story, and my old cover is there too. So I was going along, I launched with this cover. I was making sales and stuff, but I was getting some bad reviews. Some guys were reading it, because it's a sci-fi chick lit paranormal romance. It's really more geared to female, right? And so I was doing this cover, and I was making sales, but it wasn't great, and guys were picking it up and thinking it was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it just wasn't working out. So I did some research on more of a chick lit cover, and so I changed it to this cover. This little girl flying up in the flying saucer, lighter color, and it's kind of cheesy, but that's the style of the genre of, a chick lit paranormal romance. It's very cartoony. I put this up on Amazon. 24 hours later, my sales doubled. It made that much of a difference. So you really got to step back and look at your cover and compare it to others and say, and especially if you do an ebook, because I rolled it out on the ebook version. I haven't done the print version yet because I wanted to make sure it was the cover I wanted to use. So it's so easy to do. Well, you have to pay to get the cover done, but it's fairly easy to test that out. And there's a company called PICFU, PICKFU, which I highly recommend. What they do is I submitted both covers on PICFU, and you get to select your genre and who you want to have judge and pick which one they like best. And the great thing about it is they each have to write a comment on why they chose it. And my new cover was 79%. 79% of the people chose the new cover, so that's a great service. So is it really that important? They'll read the description and know what it's about. I'll grab their interest then. But people don't read. So you have 200 words of doom. 150 to 200 words of doom to get them to click to buy that magic button, but people don't read. So you need to grab their attention in the first line. It should reflect the tone of your book, give them a feel of what to expect. Is it comedy, a thriller? And for the love of God, don't sprinkle it with questions, will Susie make it past the finish line? Will she find love with Josie? That's an instant turn off for a lot of people. For fiction, you don't want to give it all away, but you need enough to be hooked. And this is the problem that I find a lot, is people just give their plot and they don't really give a sense of character. When people read a book, they're doing it to get to know the characters. They want to follow along a journey with this character. So really make sure you hit that character mark. Nonfiction, why should they trust you? What makes you an expert? And what makes your book unique? Why should they buy it all over the others? This is your chance to show them. My favorite author to always use in these presentations is Hugh Howey. Do you guys know who Hugh Howey is? He self-published his own books, and he's one of the cases that, just went over the moon sales-wise, because he was in the social networks. He does all this stuff that I'm telling you about. He sampled different covers, he sampled different description, and he became a pro at it. And now he's traveling the world in a yacht. That's what he does with his wife. So I'm going to read this description for you because I think it's so great. This book is called The Hurricane, and you probably can't see it there, but it says, "What if the entire digital life vanished tomorrow?" That's his tagline, The Hurricane. The Hurricane. Daniel Stillman has 42 Facebook friends. His cell phone contains 18 contacts, 2 of them pizza delivery. 6 people follow him on Twitter. 4 readers subscribe to his blog. He's pretty sure one of them followed him by accident. And now a Category 5 storm is about to wipe this all away. How short is that? How intriguing is that, right? You're like, I want to read that. Here's another one of his called The Box, which I love this cover. It's so simple, but it says it all, The Box. What happens when artificial intelligence comes online, only to find itself locked in a room with a madman? That's its description. So I want to give you another example of my personal story. It was the same issue with hitting the wrong market. So my first line is, end times are here, now you can eat whatever you want, not care if you gain weight. So it used to start, because this is what, on Amazon especially, that little tiny that shows before you hit the read more, that's where you have to capture them. So this is what showed first. The president has announced the Earth is going to collide with the rogue moon, and in the process, our entire planet is going to be smashed to bits. As one would expect, upon hearing the news, humans went ballistic. And it goes on to a funny thing, but it's very kind of serious. You think it's just an apocalyptic. So I changed it to Autumn, a food and wine obsessed ad executive who for the purpose of this retelling asked to be portrayed as drool-inducing hot with kick-ass ninja skills, has just been handed the task of saving all humanity. 72 hours after I put that up, my sales doubled again. That is the difference a description makes. So if you're finding that you're just, you know people are going and looking at your book, but you're just not making sales, you really got to evaluate those two things. Those are the two most important things. So logline and tagline. The logline is a concept boiled down into 1 or 2 sentences, and a tagline is a short, clever one-off. You want to keep these consistent throughout your marketing, and I really recommend you have one. Here's some really great ones. Gone Girl, I'm sure a lot of you have read that. There are 2 sides to every story. Great, tells you what it's about. Contact of war. Unification or tyranny, the only difference is the body count. Eat, Slay, Love, a romantic comedy about finding yourself in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Tells you what it's about. I love this one. Sandra Hill, Wet and Wild. What do you get when you cross a Viking with a Navy SEAL? You get Wet and Wild, that's what you get. Divergent. One choice can transform you. This is a young adult, The Mockingbirds. Hush, little students, don't say a word. See how these really capture the essence of the book and the cover? So let's talk about a little about reviews, because that is what you need. Bucket loads of reviews, right? And I have to tell you, with my experience, I got a lot of good reviews on Goodreads, but getting people to post their review on Amazon is like, they want your firstborn or something, I swear. It's almost impossible. So you got blurbs, which is praise from well-known authors of the same genre, excerpts, celebrities and stuff. And don't be shy about contacting people. There was one guy that was doing a presentation a while ago, and he said, you know what, I'm just gonna send Stephen King, just the first chapter of my book and see if he'll do a blurb. Sent it to him, got a blurb. So it wasn't hurt to ask. You know, all you're going to do is get rejected and you move on to something else. So I really highly recommend that you contact people for that. So you got reviews. You got paid, friends, beta readers, advanced readers, mostly posting on Amazon, Goodreads, and Barnes & Noble. And then you have the paid reviews, which I have mixed feelings about this. Kirkus is the big one. It's like $425 if you want a review from them. The City Book Review, Portland Book Review, all that, and Forward. Now you can submit your book, it has to be before it's released, but you can submit it for free to the City Book Review and to Forward to and it might get picked up, it might not. I got picked up by the City, my friend got picked up by Forward when we were releasing for free. Kirkus, here's the thing with Kirkus. Libraries look at it, bookstores look at it. Bookstores look more at Forward than Kirkus. But, so it'll help you get that if you get a good review, but you're paying $425 for a description of your book, essentially. Usually a Kirkus review is 90% description and then a couple lines that you may or may not be able to use. So that's just a warning with Kirkus a little bit. And then you have paid review services like NetGalley and LDevice. NetGalley is the biggest one. It's where you can put your book up and you got bunches of people that are going to download your book. It's expensive if you want to do it on your own, but you can do some co-ops, especially everybody should join IBPA. Do you guys know IBPA, Independent Book Publishers Association? It's a fantastic organization and you get so many discounts that make it worth it. I mean, if you join IBPA, you get on Ingram Spark, you can do your titles for free instead of paying $35 or whatever they charge. And you get great discounts at Staples.
Could you say that one more time what it is?
Sure, it's IBPA, Independent Book Publishing Association. Yeah, and they have a really good conference every year. But you can get a discount through them. NetGalley is one of those that if you have a nonfiction book, it's great. If you have a fiction book, you really got to be careful of your genre because your tendency is, if you do it on your own, your tendency is going to, everybody who wants asked to read your book, you're going to go, yes, yes, read my book, read my book, read my book. But you've got to vet all those people because they're just like pariahs. They want to give you bad reviews because that's what they go on to do. So you've got to really be careful, make sure you only approve people that you know are going to read your book. Other review lists are the Book Blogger Review Yellow Pages, which is a great book to get that lists a bunch of bloggers. The Indie View, Melanie Rocket, and the Book Blogger list. Those are all, these ones, the ones on the right are all free to look up bloggers to get to review your book. And I won't go into a bunch of stuff about I have another presentation on just getting reviews itself. But you want to make sure that you target reviewers that read your genre. So if you don't, you can get bad reviews. For example, when you go on every single blog post or blog that you want to be reviewed on, it'll give you your list of the pet peeves, right? And there was one blogger I didn't pay attention that she hated cliffhangers, and mine has a cliffhanger. So I'm going along, and all of a sudden I get this 1-star, just angry review, simply because I had a cliffhanger and I did not pay attention to that. So any review you get, because every review counts, right? If you get a 1-star, it hurts so bad. If you get a 5-star, it's so great, but every single one counts. So really take the time to vet that. And those reviews are part, you know, when you do all these marketing efforts, if you don't have these reviews, your marketing efforts are going to be a little less effective. So I did about that. Oh, and I am going to give you one tip. Are all of you on Goodreads? Okay. I want you to go on your Goodreads page and add every single book that's in your genre. Every single one you can possibly think of. Just add it to your to-read list. It doesn't matter if you're going to read it or not, just add it to your list. Because this is one of the most fantastic tools I've had be able to use. So what you want to, after you add it to your to-read list, I want you to click on, I don't know if you can see it here. If you go, yeah, you can't really see it there. Well, it's there. If you go onto any single reviewer that because every reviewer has a Goodreads page, so if you just go and they have a link on their website, go to their page itself, and then you can hit right here where it says more, and it says compare books. What that does is it brings a list of all your books and all their books and how they rated them on Goodreads, and that'll give you a good indication, because all your books in the genre will be on your side and all their books. So if they're given 1 and 2 stars on your genre, then you don't want to use them. So it's very important to look at that. It's a great way to vet them. It's also a great way to get cover ideas, because you can go and compare books, you know, other paranormal romance books to check out covers. You can do it to check out description. This compare book will really get you an indication of things to look for. So now you got your eye-catching cover, compelling description, catchy logline, buckets of reviews. How you get your book seen. I love this comic. So your book is the needle in the haystack. So here's this comic says, use a big needle and a small haystack. Look at the haystack, look at the needle. So that's what you gotta do. The first thing I'm gonna suggest you do to get seen for your marketing is picking your categories. Everybody's favorite subject. You really gotta drill down. So you have Amazon that has their own categories, THEMA, which is the International Classification System, and VISG. You can find these all online, but you're going to need to get your categories for each of these books. But I'm going to talk about Amazon, because Amazon is the king. That's where you're going to make all your sales. Here's the key. You get 10 categories for your Kindle edition. So a lot of people don't know that. So if you have a book you have to be on KDP, which I recommend everybody be on KDP. You don't have to do the select, but put your book directly on Amazon. If you're using Smashwords or something, turn off the Amazon channel and put it on KDP, just so you can get these 10 categories. It's gonna make all the difference in the world, especially if you wanna be a bestseller, which bestseller just means you're in the top 100 in any category, right? So, and all you have to do to get your 10 categories is just contact them, get your list of categories. For example, if we look here, so if I just wanted to be in science fiction fantasy, I would have, or science fiction romance, I think this one is, I would have 15,753 people I need to compete against, right? So that's a big haystack. So let's shrink it. So you can, to find different categories to give them to, and here's a little trick to do it. So when you go on Amazon, go to the Kindle store, like this little drop down, go to the Kindle store and just put your cursor there and hit enter. So you get right into the Kindle store. And then you hit Kindle eBooks, and then you have all your categories. So for me, I'm science fiction and fantasy, so I'm gonna look at science fiction. I'm gonna check out fantasy. And, oh look, they have a humorous category, which my book's humorous. And right there, 949 competing against versus 15,000, right? So I can, you know, just a couple sales can get you in the top 100. That's how important your categories are. If it's important to be a bestseller, a #1 bestseller. And here's an example of how categories affect it. So here's my book. My book, this is just a random thing, was of all on Amazon, it was 3,591, right? That low number, I was still only number 10, because you have to pick relevant categories. I wasn't going to, put myself in like medical trauma or something like that. So I was number 10 in genre fiction, metaphysical, 18, and genre fiction, satire, so forth. My friend, who has a nonfiction book, she was really able to drill down her categories. She was 55,000 versus 3,000, and she was number 1 because she was able to drill down in diseases and physical ailments, chronic pain. So that's just a little tip. So get in those 10 categories and really do your research on relevant categories that you can drill down to. Even if you're futzing the line a little bit, although I will see in her category, and I pulled up for this one, her number 1 category, number 4 was like a sexy, steamy, erotic romance. So, I don't know, maybe the dude has chronic pain in it or something, I don't know. So you got all that, now what? Let's talk about the fun stuff. You've got your book. You've got 4 things you need to do. You need to have a website. You need to get on social networks. I know that's a moaning point for a lot of people. You need to have marketing materials, and you need to have video content. So let's talk about keeping your brand consistent. Consistent means colors, fonts, images, logline, tagsline, everything kind of flowing together. I'm going to give you some examples here. Dan Brown has, all his books are very kind of similar. His website always has the look of his latest book, but it's very similar to all the other ones. His social media has the same look and feel there. For a series, these are all great, I think, series to show you how they kind of linked. This is my favorite, this Match, Crossed, and Reach, because Match, she's trapped in it, Crossed, she's breaking out of it, and then Reached, she's out of it. So it kind of tells you the story on that. So really look at, if you're doing a series, on how it's going to look side by side. You don't want them to look completely different and they won't know it's part of the series. You can also have a logo, especially if you're nonfiction. If you want to have yourself a logo as an author. Babysitter's Club, that was a series. This is Anunnaki Chronicles, that's my series logo. So you can have that if you want, it's just an option. So you've got a consistent feel, you've got a logo possibly, and now you've got your photo. Your photo, what you're doing when you're on social media, you're marketing you. That's how the world works now. You're not marketing your book. You are, but you're marketing yourself more because people are going to like you and they're going to buy your books and they're going to buy subsequent books. So I think an author photo is really important to get right because it's going to really show who you are. So you don't want to do any selfies or any cliches because you are going to reflect the quality of your work. So I love showing this. This is some of the author cliches. This is the sophisticated photograph, aka my head is so weighted down by great thought it requires additional support. Then you've got the office photograph, aka, oh, I didn't hear you enter, please come in, it's real. The comfortable photograph, aka the torso twist with arm resting on back of couch, even though we have some famous authors here, but still, it's very cliche. And this is the smoker photograph, aka the you can't be badass doing what's good for you and your children. And the hand to face photograph, aka the face alone is boring and therefore not enough. All right, so let's talk about websites. So everybody, if you have one thing you take away from this, have a website. Who here has a website? Awesome. It's pretty easy nowadays, especially with Squarespace and stuff like that, where you can really build a website fairly easy. The user interface is great. WordPress is good too. But it has to be responsive. And what I mean by responsive is it automatically adjusts based on what device you're on. So if you're on a tablet, it grows and shrinks so it's not cut off. And plus Google only likes responsive websites. So you will rank lower in Google if you do not have one. So here's an example of a good website here. You've got the book, you've got about the author, you've got where you can sign up for emails, and then your basic, my notes disappeared. Events, about the books, contact media. So let's talk about marketing you a little bit. People are going to relate to you. people are going to want to talk to you on social media, and you have to reach out to them. If somebody contacts you, try to get back to them right away, even if it's a mundane question. So your website requirements. You need to have a responsive website, and this is the bare minimum you should have on your website. An About You page with an extended bio, about your books, which is the cover, description, reviews, links to buy, trailer, awards. Make it easy then to buy your book, and maybe you're going to sell autographed copies. I see all too often where people don't have a link to where their book's sold everywhere, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon. You got to make it, every page, so easy for them to buy your book. You can't make it a challenge. Free chapters, with or without an email sign up. I recommend that everybody do at least 1 or 2 chapters for free so they can get a taste of it, because people love free things. Email sign up, newsletter sign up. MailChimp is great. If you have mail under 2,000 people, it's free. And it has great templates and stuff, so I recommend MailChimp. A coming soon page for all the books that you have coming soon. Any events, contact, and blog. So that is the base you need on your website. You can add as much stuff as you want, but have these items. Elizabeth Gilbert has a great website, even though her cover, whee! But it works. But her, see, everything matches. Her cover, her branding's consistent, and down here she has all the links, giant, so you can buy them. This is another great website right here. It's a young adult series. It's actually, she just got her book made into a movie. Oh, I swear. One of these days, right? And she has awesome great stuff. She has like playlists. She keeps people up to date on how the progress of the movie's going. She also, I don't think it's listed here, but she talks about her favorite films. She's very open and social, and and that really gets readers to her website because you want everybody to come to your website. This is a great one too, Kevin Hearn. He does a paranormal fantasy. They're pretty humorous, and one of the characters, he can speak to dogs, so that's his dog. So he just has a great look and feel. He has his Twitter there, so that's all good. This one's great. He really promotes right here getting the free ebook. On every single page, there's like free ebook, because one of the strategies when you have a series is giving your first one away for free. So you promote the sales of the other ones, or your first one for 99 cents. It's a great strategy. It works really well. So that's what he's doing here. Or if you have a short story, that's great. Bernard Cornwell, he is great about reaching out to his readers. He always has question and answers and just gives the most in-depth answers and is so nice. And I think he answers everybody's questions. He's great. So that's just an example of how you can reach out and connect with people. Jillian Flynn, she's great because she changes her entire website, not just the banner, but her entire website to match her latest novel, so that people know that's what they're going. And here's your rule, keep it simple. This is an example of a newsletter sign up on a website where it has all this stuff and all these things to click and blah, blah, blah. And this is Exhibit B, which is the one that works. Newsletters, so you can't see it, but there's a square here. A newsletter sign up. You just put it in and be done. But there is one thing, the GDPR, which is the European Union, came back and said, you gotta tell people what you're using their data for, or we're gonna fine you. And it affects us as well. It mostly affects if you're selling books on your website, then you can get in trouble. If you're just collecting newsletter requests, you're gonna be okay. But here's an example of my website. So I did add, just in case, because I do sell books on my site, I added a basic disclaimer, but I made it funny. So you just pretty much need to be honest and say, hey, I'm collecting your email address, and it's going to MailChimp. Here's MailChimp's privacy policy. I will not share with anybody, I promise. And then that's it. So that's just the basic, but you should have that somewhere on your website because it's really iffy on how they're gonna come down on people or not. So let's talk about everybody's favorite, blogging. Why do you want to blog, right? I was like, oh, I just want to write my book, I don't want to blog. But here's the deal. It's good for SEO, and you don't want to blog for the sake of blogging. And I know you're like, a lot of people have a block against a blog because they really don't understand it. But essentially when you're on Google and you search, how do I make cheese? And you find your results, you're going on somebody's blog. So that is what you want to, that mindset you want to have when you're writing blog posts is, what am I going to write to get people to come to my website? What are they going to be typing in that's going to bring people to my website? I know this is a lot easier for nonfiction because there's, endless that you can write about, I'm sure, your subject matter. For fiction, it's a little tougher, but you can write about blog about the writing process. I have, my whole book is based in ancient astronaut and the Sumerian culture, the research I've done for that for 20 years. So I put a lot of my research on my website and stuff. So, you just gotta find something that'll draw them in. And everybody's book, if it's a thriller, it's based somewhere or has something that you can pull from it to write a blog post about. Look at other blogs. What other blogs are working? What are they writing about? Copy it. Not copy it literally, but copy what they're doing. It could be personal stories. Just write about yourself. People love that. How-to, short stories, events, reflection, educational topics, random thoughts. Those are some ideas. It doesn't have to be related to the content of your book because you are selling you. It'll help bring people in if they're searching on Google, but remember, you're selling you, so you can be personal. You can tell them about yeah.
What is SEO?
Oh, SEO. That's just essentially a word that means search engine optimization, which means where you place on Google. So, are you on the first page, second page? Pretty much. So how often do you want to blog? In a dream world, you want to do it once a week, because Google loves once a week. But this isn't a dream world, as we all know. So shoot for once a month, if you can. And it doesn't have to be long. They say for SEO purposes, a minimum of 300 words, but I find that doesn't hold true all the time, as long as you're constantly blogging. And if you have a video that you're putting on a blog post, make sure you do a transcript of it, because Google can't, it doesn't listen to your videos, so it doesn't know what you're doing. So you got to do the transcript so that then Google can find all those words and keywords, and then it'll pull it up on the search engine. That's why you see all those annoying, like when you pull up news articles or news things now, and they just have a video and they have the whole transcript below it. That's why they do that. Once again, we're going to Hugh Howey because he's great at blogging. That's how he became so successful, is his blog and his YouTube and all that kind of stuff, where he was just sharing his personal stories. He was showing him building a boat, all that kind of stuff. So he does stuff, a variety of stuff. So here he talked about, this is old, May 2015 author earnings report. So he talks about how, successful authors are and how much they're making and all that kind of stuff. So he does a full report. He answers everybody's questions. He'll do these long. He'll do posts about his fans and meeting his readers and his experiences. And he does how-tos. So he did a whole thing on InDesign on how to do the interior of your book, which is fantastic. It still holds up today. And then he opens himself up. He always shows his editor notes when he sends a book out to his editor. He puts in the funny notes there just so you can kind of see it. So it's that whole just personal thing, You get to know the person, you like them, and you want to buy their book. So let's talk about social networks. I'm going to talk about the ones that you have to do. And I know you don't want to do them. Facebook author page. This is getting less and less with all the trouble Facebook is, and they changed their algorithm, so you're almost impossible to come up. But it's great for search engines, and a lot of people are still on Facebook, and that's how they'll find you. So have a Facebook page, and make sure it's linked to your personal account. You do have an option. You got two options. You can, through your personal account, you can open up a page, or you can just open it up separate. Don't open up separate, because you lose a bunch of insights and stuff you can do, and tagging and all that kind of stuff. So make sure that you open it through your personal account. Nobody will know. If you're trying to hide yourself, they won't be able to link it back. But make sure you do it that way. Gotta have Twitter. Instagram. Instagram is the #1 social network right now and has the biggest return on investment for people. Google Plus, only for search engines. That's the only reason why you do it. I always say don't put every single exact same thing on every single social network. You want to vary it based on the social network. With the exception of Google Plus, whatever you blog, just throw it on Google Plus. But you just need it for SEO. Goodreads. Make sure you're on Goodreads as an author. Everybody loves to, use Goodreads to mark their books read as unread, so it's really important to be on there. Author Central. They have multiple countries, and Author Central just released a beta where you can do it all in one, but I think for a lot of people, you still have to sign up Author Central UK, Author Central Japan. You have to do each one separate, but I don't know how far they're into that beta right now. And then if you're doing nonfiction, LinkedIn is important for you. and YouTube, which is my favorite social networking tool that I specialize in, and you can get so many results from that. And the reason why you can get so many results from YouTube is people don't read video content. So what can you do? Book trailer. You got to think about what you're able to do. I know everybody wants to have a book trailer. It doesn't have to be some epic big house trailer if you don't have the funds for it. I recommend contacting colleges. The students there are eager to do projects and do new things, so if you can contact them to help you do a trailer, you can probably get it for close to free. What I don't recommend is putting just text up with music and some stock photos. That just, you just won't get the views. You'll just have a video for the sake of having a video. You want to keep it under 2 minutes. 1 minute for Instagram, that's their limit. Although I think they're going up to an hour. I don't know why they went from 1 minute to an hour, but that's quite the jump. And you don't want to just read or retell your description from the back of the book. You can read that, but they want something fresh and new. So you can read excerpts from your book. Maybe you can do something with a little animation with that. And don't forget to include your website at the end of the video. And also add links to your website, social networks, and the video description. I can't tell you how many times I've watched just browsing book trailers, and then there's no information on how to get the book. So it becomes a little bit of a waste. And I do have, and I don't know if it's going to work or not, I have 2 book trailers that I wanted to show you, but I don't know how it's going to work with audio, so maybe if I hold up the mic. This is for a fiction book by Scott Siegler, and I just thought it's a simple, and it's there's a little bit to it, but he did it for very cheap, and you'll see.
I woke up alone in the dark. I woke up screaming. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know who put me there. But I learned. I fought. I survived. I still don't know who I was. But now I know who I am. And I'm not alone anymore.
Nice, huh? So, but it was a lot to it, but really, if you look at the simplicity of it, it was just a little coffin and a girl, right? So you got to think creative like that, and once again, students can help you. This is my favorite. You guys all know David Sedaris? Oh, God, I love him so much. This is what he just did a simple cartoon for his book, for his little trailer.
From Buffalo, I sat beside a well-dressed woman with shoulder-length blonde hair. Shortly after I take off, she started a conversation, and I learned that she published 2 books. Both were about sexual harassment. She told me that they had sold very well. Now she was trying her hand at fiction. It's going to be chick lit, but I got the best title of all time. I'm calling it Falling for Christmas. Gosh, I said, that's great. Then I told her my perfect book title, and she reacted much like I had. Let's what? Diabetes with owls? Explore, I said. Let's explore diabetes with owls. And you mean like diabetes a disease? Exactly. And she said, well, I guess we'd better both get cracking on those books.
All right. So, and there's, you can go online and to some of there's like, Fiverr and all these cheap services now where if you have an idea, you can get quotes on it, you can get stuff for dirt cheap now. You'd be surprised what you can get. So let's talk about other video content. How-to informational videos are the most popular. If You can show somebody how to do something, even if it's your writing process, or how to use Scrivener, or whatever tools you're using. Those are great. But you want to keep it. You can keep it simple. Sit down and talk to us. There's no fancy graphics need. You can just use your phone. You can show us a PowerPoint. And that's the great thing, is it doesn't have to be fancy. And nowadays, people are just holding their phones up and walking around. And so you can sit down and even have a discussion with a friend. You can talk about a book review. There's just so much you can do, but you just got to get on there and you just got to start producing content. So let's talk about your other marketing materials you have. You have a press kit, which should be easy downloadable on your website. Your press kit consists of an author bio, picture, website, social links, and contact info. It should have your press release in it, author Q&A with your interview questions and answers to those interview questions, excerpts from your book, and then specific information about your book, like your title, cover, ISBN, description, all that kind of stuff, and any reviews, testimony, media links, awards, etc. And you can go, if you want an example of a media kit, you can go on my website, writtenbyanna.com, and I'll have cards over there for you. And you can download the media kit there so you can see all the stuff that you need to get in a media kit. You should have an elevator pitch. I always say have 1 floor, 5 floors, and 100 floors. How quickly can you sell your book? And elevator pitches, they really make people nervous and stuff. So you really got to get comfortable with it. So I really suggest doing it with friends. All of you here, there's no reason why you shouldn't be sharing your elevator pitches with each other and trying to learn how to sell your book, because it's all the practice that makes it happen. Business cards or bookmarks and other goodies you want to hand out. And always keep books in your car. There's been many times that I've just been talking to somebody like, oh, I want to buy your book. I'm like, well, I got one in the car. And have a credit card reader. A lot of people won't have cash, so if you do the credit card readers, they hook up right to your phone. Other marketing platforms, podcasting. It is very popular right now. You can easily get on a podcast. It would surprise you. You just find some podcasts. You can go on Stitcher, you can go on iTunes, find some that you're interested in, and just contact them, because they're eager to have people on. They're eager for content. So you can easily contact these people and say, hey, I have an idea. I got on your show, and can I talk about, if it's a cooking and you do cooking, can I talk about this latest recipe I have? And you'd be really shocked about how many will let you on their show. The other one is blog tours. This one's a little tricky because blog tours will not make sales during the tour themselves. You'll rarely, it's only like $150 to get somebody to coordinate one for you. But you rarely make your money back on the blog tours. But what it does is it puts your book in people's heads. So all these people are going to these blogs, and they may not buy your book right away, but they'll keep seeing it on all these similar blogs, and they'll keep seeing it on social media, and after a while they'll be like, okay, maybe I need to check out this book. So it's really good in that sense. And I also got, when I did a blog tour, I had a couple people that did reviews, and just over the moon about the book and shared it with everybody in the world. So again, did I really make that many sales from it? No, but it really helped get it going in the long term. So blog tours, time versus money, because you can coordinate a blog tour yourself without paying a service. If you contact any bloggers, they will be happy to do a release day blitz for you. No money, no nothing. All you do is you just give them your book cover, description, bio, when you want it up. Just give them all the information in one easy package and say, hey, will you put my book up on release day? And they'll be, yes, I will. That's how easy it is. Very rarely will somebody turn you down unless you're not part of the genre, or your book is just, I don't know, not up to par or something, but they will definitely put you on. And they'll also do author interviews, guest posts. If you ask them, hey, do you want to do an interview with me? That's a little trickier because they have to really kind of like you, but they'll put up guest posts because they just want content. So if you have several guest posts written, contact and say, I have this guest post about writing paranormal romance. Will you put me on your blog? Or I have this one, a review I did for another book. Will you let me do a guest review? And you'll get up there. So other social networks, you have Pinterest, Reddit, and Tumblr, Quora, AskFM, Snapchat, and Wattpad. Wattpad, that's a good one. So these ones are just optional, but they're there. Quora and AskFM are really good for nonfiction books because you can, answer questions or post questions and answer them yourself. Reddit and Tumblr, unless you're really into those, it's a little it's a little daunting. I personally don't like them, but they are useful. Pinterest, a lot of people like that so they can pin stuff. So let's talk about Wattpad really quick. Wattpad is super, especially if you have fiction books. How many people have fiction books here? Awesome. And the rest of you, nonfiction? Just a few? Okay. All right. So this is more for paranormal romance, mystery, thriller, all that kind of stuff. Wattpad, you get paid for putting your book up. So what happens is your book comes up, people read it, and then it stops at a certain point, and they have to look at an advertisement, and they read more, and have to look at an advertisement. So that's how Wattpad monetizes, and then they give you money for your page reads. And it's really good to put up. I know a lot of people that put up their entire first book on Wattpad, and then that subsequently sell the other ones. If you do KDP Select though, that's exclusive, so you can't put your book up on Wattpad because you can only have like 10 or 20%, I forgot what their rule is about your book being anywhere else. If you do the Select, but just regular KDP you can. So a lot of people do put most or all of their book to kind of tease it. You can get a huge following here. Like a lot of these have, like this Dracula one has 3.2 million views. So the one below it, The King's Slave, 17 million. Hit Me Cupid has 4.2 million. The other one 4.5 million. So it's a lot of readership, and put short stories up there. Those are great to get you going too if you can write a bunch of short stories. The next one is BookBub and Amazon Marketing Services. These both have, BookBub has two things you can do. BookBub is the #1 place to get bargain ebooks there is. They have like 5 million people that follow them, something crazy like that. And so if you can, it's hard to get your book on BookBub. You have to have at least 50 reviews on Amazon. And you have to have, I think they require a 3.5 or higher average rating. It might even be higher than that. And it's just a process where you have to apply, and then you'll probably get rejected, and you apply again, and you get rejected. But what you do on BookBub is you put your book for 99 cents or free, and you will have, it does cost you, but you will have hundreds of thousands of downloads of your book. All right. You probably won't make that much money from it or make it back, but so you only do this if you have a series or you have more books to sell. It doesn't even have to be a series as long as you have more books to sell, because you will get all those people downloading the book, and then you'll sell subsequent books for that. There's people that make a lot of money if they can get on BookBub. The other thing BookBub does is they have, here's an example of, see, 99 cents free. That's what it looks like on their deals page, and they send out a newsletter. The other thing BookBub does is they have these paid ads. And just like Amazon Marketing Services, it's cost per click. So you can easily go on BookBub for free and set up, it's called their partner network, I think. So you can set that up. And it's based on, you refine your ads by author and your book category. So I put in all the authors that I know my books like, and I refine the categories, and then you make a little, you do have to do graphics here, but it's simple, it's your book and usually some text. It doesn't have to be fancy. And you can run some ads on BookBub. And it's cost per click, so you don't pay unless somebody clicks on it to go to your book. All right. So that's one. And the next one is my favorite in the whole world, Amazon Marketing Services. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I did it and I didn't get anything from it. There's tricks to it. I just did a presentation last week on it. There's a trick to it in that, does anybody do Amazon Marketing Services? Anybody done it? Just one? Just one? Have you had success with it?
One book, I think.
Yeah, okay. If you have an ebook, there's absolutely, on KDP, there is absolutely no reason you should not be doing Amazon Marketing Services. You will make sales. It is, all the people that I kind of counsel on this, they go from making 1 or 2 sales a month to hundreds a month. It's that powerful if you do it right. And the trick to doing Amazon Marketing Services is your keywords. Because, and I'll just give you a quick little tidbit on that. So selecting keywords for Amazon Marketing Services, you want to do you don't just select keywords like, your book has a frog in it, so you say frog or whatever. You want to get all of the authors that are like your book, all the bestsellers that are like your book, all the titles of the books, all the series names of the books. That's the key, is to grab all that, because what happens is when people go like to Janet Ivanovich, which is, she does some paranormal romance, and mine's paranormal romance, she's on my list too, because anybody who's looking for her, then my book will come up in the sponsored ads next to it, and people will see it. Putting awards in there, like one of my keywords is Hugo Award. Did I get a Hugo Award? No, but I can put Hugo Award as my keyword, and I get sales from it, because people are looking up Hugo Award. They just assume, I guess, because it's sponsored, that I have a Hugo Award. I don't feel guilty about it. So all that New York Times bestseller, you can put as a keyword. There's a list of stuff that you can do to really get those sponsored ads working for you. But a note on the keywords. I know you get keywords when you put your book into Amazon, KDP, or Ingram, or Smashwords, or wherever you put it in. You get those keywords there. Don't use any of the keywords I just said for that, because those are illegal. Those have to be keywords like frog. Because they're very specific. You can't use bestseller or any author names or anything like that. But for Amazon Marketing Services, anything goes. You can use any keyword you want. And it's great because you get a cost per click advertising, only pay when somebody clicks it. You only need to have text. You don't have to create graphics. You just create a little text copy for it. And in theory, if you've done right, you should make money to counteract spends as clicks result in sales. And it works both fiction and nonfiction. And while it only primarily it targets ebooks, you will see paperback sales from it, because people prefer paperback, and they still see the ad when they're searching books, that they'll get some paperbacks. And if you're on KDP Select, it will increase your page rates. I have a whole argument for doing KDP Select. If you don't know what that is, KDP Select is where you go exclusive on Amazon, and people can download your book on Kindle Unlimited or the lending library for Prime members. If you have not if you have nonfiction, but if you have a fiction, especially a genre with romance in it or a thriller, going Select is really the way to go. Because, for example, my book sells for $2.99. When I sell my book on Amazon, I think I make $1.81 commission or something like that. But on KDP Select, the way they work it, because you get paid per page read, mine ends up being on their version of the page is 597 pages. And when they calculate every month, I make about $2.47 a book if somebody reads my entire book on KDP Select. So if people are reading your whole book, you're going to make more money on that, because they can download it for free, and then you still get money for it. So I highly recommend it. So Amazon ads are the ones, like here's at the very top is where the book is, and then below it says sponsored products, and it has all the sponsored products. And it also lists when you, I typed in paranormal romance, and all your sponsored ones show up there. So I highly recommend it. Do I need to stop now and take a break? Okay. So I will continue with we're almost done, but I know we're supposed to stop at 11 to take a break, so I'll just finish it up really quick when we come back, and then I will do some questions, all right?
Thank you very much. We'll take a break for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, back to our speaker.
All right, yeah, counting is not my thing. It makes me dizzy every time. I hate accounting so much, and I have a business. I have a marketing company. Once a year, like around January at the beginning of the year, I do all my accounting at once. I don't do bookkeeping every month because I hate it. So I get cases of wine and I start doing my accounting, and the accounting gets a little futzy, and I'm like, I better stop. All right, so let's talk about your to-do list, an audiobook. Audiobook sales are growing like crazy, and it is so easy to get an audiobook done for nothing. ACX, which is the Audiobook Creation Exchange, that is Audible, owned by Amazon. What doesn't Amazon own, right? They have a program where you can have them do your audiobook for you, narrator, everything, good to go, for free. But they take a bigger chunk of your profits. If you have your own audiobook, you do it yourself, you're going to get a lot more royalty. But if that's just not an option for you, you don't want to spend a couple grand or whatever it is to get your audiobook done, then there's no reason why you don't go through them to get it done. So some money is better than no money, right? If you're just not going to do it because you're getting a smaller royalty. So look it up. You can audition people for it, and there's no reason to have an audiobook. Fiction and nonfiction. So we're almost to the end here, and then I'll take questions. So let's talk about some unique book marketing ideas beyond the business card, after this one at Beyond the Business Card. So this moo.com is my absolute favorite place to get business cards, because what they do is you can do unlimited fronts of cards. So you can do really creative things with it. You can have different excerpts from your book on one side if you want to do that, and then your information on the back. Different images featured from your book. You can do mix and match collectors versions. You can create a game with it. You can have different ones on a different situation. So you can have one, with an author picture, some with a code to download a free book, the book covers with multiple books, excerpt, or publishing company logo. So you can do multiple things with that. And I always have fun with people because I have, I have just regular business cards and I have the fancy ones, and people always go like, oh, I want this one, or I want this one, because it's kind of fun to do that. So that's one thing. They're a little more expensive than regular business cards, but definitely worth it for special things. Zazzle and Cafe Press, they're really great for printing your own things. You can print messenger bags, t-shirts, phone cases, notebooks. There's pretty underwear if you wanted to do a collection of underwear for your book. You can do that. So I recommend going there, because you can be your own walking billboard for your books. And my banner there, I highly recommend, there's a place called Vistaprint. Not Vistaprint, sorry. No, not Vistaprint. Bad. No, not that. U-Printing, sorry. U-Printing does those banners. That was $95 for that big banner.
Build a sign.
Build a sign?
For 65.
65,
They're
nice.
having a sale 35% off, but a lot of times it's 25% off.
Okay. Build a sign.
And I got two for 75 each. They're really cheap.
Nice, okay. Good quality? Just like, all right. Yes?
Why do you not recommend Vistaprint?
Their quality is far superior to other, they're cheap, but you printing, you get the same price in a much better quality. Yeah. It might have changed. All the clients that I've had have Vistaprint. I look at their cards and I'm like, so you can get much better quality. Let's talk about personalizing books for fans. This is one of the things you can do. If you personalize books for fans, you can, this is one of the things, a YouTube video, you can record yourself doing it. And we're going to talk about Hugh Howey, again, who I told you is the guru of this, and he videotapes himself doing all of his custom stuff for his books, and he does some really unique stuff, and he gets lots of views, and he even puts, he gets a lot of people, fans going, oh, I got your book, and they'll put a video up, and he'll add that, to his YouTube page and stuff and talk about it. So for this one, he did a book called Sand. And what he did is he actually got bags of sand from whatever desert it was that was in this book. I don't know where exactly it was, or ocean, or I don't know where it was. But he got the sand from it, and he sprinkled it inside of every single book. Which later he was like, people were like opening the book and all the sand was falling out. And he's like, well, that wasn't a good idea, but but he did that. Another one he did, iZombie, and so you can kind of see here where he took fake blood and he splattered it on front of it, and he did his signature with fake blood on there, which is something fun and unique. He created this for the wool series, the whole entire thing. He did this little, it's a business card, but it's also a USB here that pulls into it, and it's like a card with all his book information on it, and it has all 3 books on it. So that was a great thing he did. And he gave these away, but that's an option you can do to actually sell your books. If you have multiple books, you can put them all on one and sell them on little cards. These are a little expensive though, so you're gonna have to price it accordingly. This is great. This is actually, I found at a bar. Somebody put these in a bar. They got permission, of course, but they put them in a bar. And it's for his book, Martinis, Movie Stars and Murder. It's called The Bitter Drink. And he says, read responsibly. So those were just the little cardboard things on there. It was a great looking, how much it is, where you can get it. And then, what is his tagline? Chill and wait for the twist. Clever. All right. So, all of these things, and I know what you're thinking, this whole presentation. I'm supposed to do what? Trust me, I get it. So here's the ironic thing. This is a quote I like. "The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones." You got to take it step by step. So here's the thing I always give a disclaimer for. I am a marketer, I have a marketing company, and I do none of these things for myself. All right, I'm in the same boat as all you guys where, well, because I'm sure all of you, or some of you are retired, but work full time, and then you have to find time to write, and then you have to find time to market. My situation is I'm marketing for everybody else all day, so when I get home, the last thing I want to do is market some more, you know? So I'm in the same position. So it's all about taking step by step, doing what you can, getting on social networks and getting, you know, your foot in it and seeing which ones you like, and just starting adding on little by little. If there's one thing if you take away from today, besides having a website, is Amazon Marketing Services. Doing the ads with Amazon. It will make a big difference. So that's it, that's it. So what I'm gonna do is I obviously have my book over there for sale. And then if you contact me on my website, I have cards over there you can grab at the end. If you contact me on my website or via email and say you're from this presentation, I will send you the slides. So email me, I'll send you the slides, or just do the contact form on my website. But just say which, because I do so many presentations, so just say which one it was so I know what slides to send you. So that said, any questions? Yes?
Yeah, when you talked about paying for those 10 categories, have your book listed under different categories?
Paying for it?
No, excuse me, when you, yeah, to.
Oh,
so
put
that-
that, yes,
So those are all free, you get up to 10,
up to 10.
okay.
Right, yeah. All you do is you have to drill down the exact categories. So it would be like Kindle ebooks, science fiction, romance, you know, whatever. Drill it down all the way for them so they have the entire line. And you just copy and paste that in their contact form on their website and say, I want these 10 categories. Well, you'll put 8 because you already have 2 listed in your back end. So you just give them 8 more, and within 3 or 4 hours, I got a response. Okay, it's done. So, yes.
You talk about blogging, so number one, where you blog, and number two, how do you draw people's attention to your blog?
Okay. Oh, okay, sorry. So he asked about blogging. So how do you draw attention to your blog, and what was the other part of it?
Where?
And where do you blog? Okay, you will blog on your website because you want everybody to come back to your website so you can find your book. So you can use any of these services you use, like Squarespace, WordPress, all of those have built-in blogs. So you can just start writing on your own website, doing your blogs there. And where you promote it is social media, of course. You put it out on all your social media networks. You can ask to share blog. You can go to other blogs that have similar blog posts as you and say, hey, do you mind sharing? We can share your blog posts with each other to try and connect your readership together. And the other place that people find it is through Google. So you've got to have lots of keywords in there. So meaning, we got to think, what is somebody going to type to get to that article? I'm doing an article on cooking frog legs, since frog seems to be in my head today. So I'm going to talk about cooking frog legs. So what kind of words are people going to type in? They're probably going to be like, how do I cook frog legs? So you got to make sure you have how do I cook frog legs somewhere in your blog post, or frog legs, or any kind of keywords that are rich that will get people to your post. Does that make sense? But social networks are the key, especially Twitter, Instagram. That really drives people. And using hashtags, that's another important thing. When you're on, it doesn't count. I know people put hashtags on Facebook, but they don't do anything. It's only Twitter and Instagram, and hashtags are those little things like where it says hashtag bulletproof or hashtag frog legs or hashtag. What that does is people who are searching, if people go on Twitter and say, I want to look up frog legs, they'll type in frog legs, and then if you have that hashtag, you will show up. So that's kind of how hashtags work. And then there's popular hashtags as well, where people are always looking for. You can see on the side of Twitter like trending hashtags. Try to take advantage of those if they pertain to you, because then you'll start getting followers. I mean, every time I do a Twitter post, I always get 4 or 5 followers just because of the hashtags I use, because they looked it up that way. Yes?
I have a question on your keywords that you were saying, the 100 on KDP. Is that the same as the ones that you have to pay 25 cents for? You get a different amount. Is that a whole different thing?
You mean on Amazon ads? So there's several different kind of keywords. There's keywords that you will put in your content of blog post, which is just those words that will get you found in Google. that people will be typing in to find you. The keywords that you'll put when you put your book into KDP or Ingram or Smashwords, it'll say, give me, I think it's 5 keywords, I think it is up to now. Ingram, you can put as many keywords as you want. You can just do 1 million of them on the back end, and Amazon accepts those. But on Amazon itself, I think it's 5 keywords. And those are things like, 15th century France, or, if that's what your book is about, or frog legs, say, for example. Those words. But you can't use things like, for that, you can't use things like any authors or bestseller or, killer, book sales or something like that. You can't do anything that'll influence it. It's just strict keywords. And then the other keywords you have are for your Amazon ads. Now for Amazon ads, anything goes. You can put bestseller, you can put Hugo, you can put Janet Ivanovich, you can put all of those type of keywords in there to drive sales for your book. Yes?
I'm at the review stage now,
Mm-hmm.
and I was wondering how much time usually lasts between asking for reviews, getting them, assembling them, trying to figure out which ones you want to put in your book before you're ready to publish.
Okay, that's a great question. She's talking about the review process and how long you need to allot for that before your book. 6 months. 6 months before your book comes out is what you want to give yourself. Because here's what you're going to do is you have to find all those reviewers, and you have to give them time to read your book. So you got to give yourself at least a month, sometimes 2 months, to make a list of reviewers to contact, because you'll come up with a list of 200 to 400 reviewers that you'll want to contact. It's a lot, I know. And then once you have that list, what you'll do is you'll want to contact them individually, and they'll need 3 to 4 months to read your book, because they're so backlogged on books that they need that much time to get through it before your release. And you want some pre-release, especially if you have your book on pre-sale, you can get some reviews on there. So, they won't post until the day of, but so you'll want to do that. And when you contact these reviewers, it's really, really, really important to be personal. So don't ever contact, say, dear blogger, and then have do 500 people at once or whatever, because you won't get a response. These people get between 500 to 600 emails a day, no joke, for reviews. There's that many people asking for reviews. So find that specific one, know their name. That's what I talked about. You got to read a couple things. Read their reviews to make sure that they're just not mean reviewers, because there's a lot of reviewers out there that like to be mean. So read a couple reviews, look at their pet peeves, and make sure that they're accepting at the time. And they'll right on their blog page will say you want a review, you click on that, and it'll give you all the details. Make sure you do everything they say. And have print copies, have your ARCs, because a lot of people will want print copies. So you want to invest in some ARCs, and make sure, here's the thing, they're completely marked every single possible way that it's an ARC. ARC, 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 everywhere. And not for sale, not for this, not for that. And even that, what's going to happen is people are still going to sell your book on eBay. It'll say, signed copy, never been read. That used to be the problem with Goodreads giveaway. There was a whole scam going with Goodreads giveaway where what happens is with the way their algorithm used to work before they had the paid one, where if you had a bunch of people on your to-read list and you just marked them all to read, as you read them all, like 50,000 books or whatever, you would be more likely to win. And so what they would do is they would do that. People would win all these books, and they make these stores on eBay and sell your books. They don't even open them, they just sell your books. So,
What's ARC?
ARC, Advanced Reader Copy. Yeah. So just make sure it's an Advanced Reader Copy. You can find the language online that you can put on that. But if you can, if you're doing a print run for this and put on every page Advanced Reader Copy, that's the best. Otherwise, stickers, you can do stickers all over the place. But I highly recommend that. Yes?
About a week or 2 ago, there was a big article about stuffing on Amazon. It was very discouraging to read about that. Can you comment on that? Do you know if they're doing anything about it?
Stuffing.
It's sort of, Kindle books, there were stuffers, they were putting back content on their books so that when people read their book or just went to the back of the book, so it looked like they read the whole thing, the book was like 500 pages when it was really only 150, and they were hiring ghostwriters and stuff, and they called it stuffing. And if you go on Twitter, there's people that are just like up in arms against it, and I guess they've gotten a lot of these stuffed books off of Amazon, and then those authors are saying, you're bullying us.
Oh, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, there was a big thing about that, but Amazon has now gone and they really look at your book for that page read. They go in and they find that starting point when it actually starts, and they find that ending point when it actually ends, and they don't count that stuff at the end anymore. I think that's probably why things are slowing down, is because they're really paying attention to that. And you can find, in your dashboard, you can find what your actual page count is, and if you're not showing a page count, this is if you're doing the Kindle Unlimited, if you can't find your page count, it might not be because they've actually done it yet, so you need to contact them and say, hey, get me my page count, so that they can really go in and do that. Otherwise, your page counts will be all funky. But yeah, no, they're totally cracking down on that.
A lot of people, I don't think a lot of people know, I didn't know, that that was how they based how much they paid you, was by how many pages were.
Right. Yeah, it's exactly, that's how they pay you, and that's how people were made. They used to stuff it at the beginning too, with all the content, and they crack down on that, and they go in and they really look at your book now to find the page count for it.
Are you seeing that thing where people are copyright or trademarking a word so that other people can't use that word in their title?
Yeah, trolls have been around forever, and that's, what was it? What's her name? The little country twanger, what's her name? She tried to copyright some word like explosive or something like that. some pop star, I forgot what her name is, and everybody's like, what? So no, that's happening all the time, and it's one of those things where you just got to write it out, and yeah. And one thing I will say that you should always do in your ebook version is, after that last word of your book, immediately say, hey, thanks for reading my book. Please check out my website. Please leave a review here and have links to everything right there. Don't put it after about your author and after your, thank yous or whatever it is. After that last word of your book, that's where you put it, because otherwise they won't skim to it. Anything else? Tap dance. No burning questions? Yes?
Could you give us some of the other presentations that you do, that you offer?
Yes, I do. I do one on reviews, on getting reviews. I do one on cover design. I do one on Amazon ads specifically. And then there's another one. Unique programs that you can use, like KDP Rocket is one that I highly recommend for keywords. Like utilizing Goodreads to find, get your covers and your descriptions and getting reviewers for using Goodreads and stuff like that. Yes?
You've given us so much information today, most of our heads are spinning. Do you have a site where we can download any of?
Yes, if you go to my website, my cards are there, over there, or it's writtenbyanna.com. If you go to my website and contact me and tell me what presentation it was, then I will send you the slides for the presentation.
Writtenbyanna.com.
Writtenbyanna.com. Yep. And I'm sure your heads will still be spinning even after you get the slides.
What's the name of your marketing company?
What was that?
What's the name of your marketing company?
Oh, my marketing company is called Big Head Marketing. Big Head Marketing. It was named after my dog. I had this dog that was part shepherd, part pit bull, and part basset hound. So it had this giant head, really long body, and stubbly legs. It was really cute. Yeah, but as I said, I don't do any marketing, so if you contact me and say, hey, can you do this and that? And no, sorry. But I will answer if you have any questions, basic questions or whatever. I'm happy to answer anything for you.
Then what does your marketing company do? You don't do marketing.
I do marketing. I just booked up for like 3 years.
Oh!
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't quite catch an answer you gave to someone where you said you emailed Amazon to add these?
Categories?
Yeah, you had to ask them because you couldn't just like.
You can't select them on the back end. It's something it's a secret. I don't know
Yeah,
what kind of
I
secret it is.
tried to add more to my one book and I went, how did they get these words? They're not there. And then I just thought about it.
Yeah, you go and you drill down to what categories you want, find one with like a low amount of books in it that still fits your genre, and you just copy and paste that whole line of what it is and just email those 8 to Amazon and say, hey, put me in these categories. Yeah, right through KDP, and they'll add you to the categories. Yes, that's really important. And they'll always list, like when you see the sales rankings on your book, it'll list the top 3 that you're in. That's how it lists it. And if you don't have enough categories for whatever, they'll just automatically select categories for you. Yes?
Is your marketing firm's name a trademark or registered?
No. Oh, sorry, is my company trademarked? And that is no. Yes. Are you going to steal it? Is that what you want?
You were talking about business cards and stuff, but I'm trying to find it, I'm not able to find it. I have to say it's the 5 books, I want to put it's the 5 books box set. I can't find a place that I can get small amounts of the boxes to.
I'm not sure I follow. So you're looking for...
Like if you see the Harry Potters, you'll see a box set of Harry Potters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the box for my series.
You mean that graphic to create a box for your series?
She means a box.
I got 5 books.
Oh, a physical box to put them in. That I don't know.
I can't find it anywhere except if I buy 500 roll at my stage of writing. I don't need 500 bucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you can always get maybe craft storing, create your own boxes.
That's what I'm ready to do.
Everybody stare at the phone. It's even worse when that happens. It's happened to me too, and you can't turn it off, and you're like, no! You're reclining.
Upside down, I don't have
If there are any more questions about this presentation, she's booked up for marketing, but you can get some information here. If there's anything that you want any more on what she talked about, now's the time.
We're going to go home and try to figure it all out.
I know. That's okay. If we had time, I would go into the Amazon marketing thing, but we have like 10 minutes. I can pull up that.
Question back here.
Oh, yes.
What about press releases? Do you recommend hiring an online company like PR Web? And if so, what do you think about them? How effective are they for your marketing?
Yeah, PR Web, about getting a press release. I am one of those people that believe if you're going to do a press release, you should get a publicist and have them do the whole thing for you. There's actually a lot of publicists out there that do piecemeal. They won't charge you $5,000 a month or whatever it is, but they'll do if you want a press release and then you want them to contact a few bloggers and you want them to contact. I have a friend that has a PR person that does that, and she spoke here, Sherry Kephart. We launched our book together. She did a memoir speak here, and she got that through her publicist. So you can get different engagements like that. So it's one of those tough things because you don't have a lot of money to spend when you're doing your book. If you're going to spend money, if any money you spend should go to an editor. 100% should go to an editor, because if you have a book with typos, and that's speaking of reviewers, don't submit your book to a reviewer if it has typos, because they will go off on your book. They hate that, because they get so many self-published books that have really just, you cannot edit your own book because you can't see those mistakes. You're blind to those mistakes. And same with the cover and description I showed you. I'm a marketer. I should have been able to figure that out right off the gate, right? No, you're blind to your own everything. It's weird how that works, right? You think because I can edit other people's books and I can be really great at it, and then I do my own, and I'm like, there, THEIR instead of ERE. What was I thinking? So that happens. So I don't know how much time we have.
Oh, we have maybe 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah. No time to bring that presentation up then. So, that's it, all right.